If you remember, just a little over a year ago, on August 19th, we were down at the Eagle Firehouse, and we were gathered that day for the groundbreaking. And the day was pretty much like today, a little warm, good sun. And at that time, if you remember what the street looked like, what was left of it, the sidewalks were cracked and crumbling, the curbs were pretty much non-existent. The street was paved, I guess, like a quilt in patches all over the place. And altogether, the visual streetscape was pretty bleak. And I'm so proud today that as we look at this street, what has been accomplished in a year's time. Mayor Bracy last year was here with her cast on, and I hope she still has it because it has some rather significant autographs on it. And President Gunther Smith of York College was just beginning her first year as the new president of the school. At the time of the groundbreaking, we had received commitments to go from Tyler Run Creek to Pershing, 1 block that way. And, however, shortly thereafter, we were challenged. Let's go to George Street. Well, we all started taking deep breaths. And we started digging, and we were able to do so. The only thing that's missing are the last 17 light poles that will be going up later in the fall. It's a bit of a lead time with those. And then it will all be complete. The good part is, did I kick something? The good part is, we did it. And I think everybody here can give a round of applause. There are a whole bunch of people that I need to recognize. First of all, it truly was one of those things that was an easy sell. I mean, everybody saw that there was an opportunity and we need to take advantage of it now. And everybody jumped in, very supportive. I'd like to recognize Stuart and Tate. Is Tim Tate here? There we go. I work pretty much on a daily basis with Al Myers to make this happen, and he was very forthcoming with information and extremely helpful and did a lot of coordination. I apologize. It's okay. A lot of coordination with the contractors, subcontractors, and with some of the residents and so forth as we move down the street. And your help during that time was very much appreciated. I have to recognize Dennis Restuccio and Dennis Pantano, 2 cousins that did all the concrete work here. They were just fantastic. Last December, 6 hours before it started snowing the first time, we completed what we needed to complete last year. And that's cutting it close. We made it, and then we resumed in the springtime. I'd like to thank Seco, Dave Edmondson back there. He's doing all the electrical part for this. And if you've been down here in the evening, what a transformation. It's just so cool looking. And when it's all done, it'll be even better. John Statello from Penn Lighting, I don't know if he's here or not, but he is the sales rep. And he really helped pick the light because we were very concerned that we didn't blow out the neighborhood with too bright a light. So we picked the right fixture, the right wattage, and Wes Stiles from Barton and Casey Deller helped us with the professional aspect of that. And I think they really hit a home run with that one. It really looks great. Height Company in York was the one that actually supplied the poles. From the city of York, of course, Mayor Kim Bracy, right, was ever supportive from day one when we first mentioned it. She saw the opportunity right away. And Jim Gross, time and again, came through with some very strategic and important contributions to the effort. I'm sorry he's on vacation today, but after what we put him through, maybe he needs one. A.J. Grimm helped us out today. He's a highway superintendent and took care of cleaning up the streets and blocking them all for us. And Deb Bush was very helpful with the PR and getting all of you folks invited and, to be here today. Again, C.S. Davis and Jeff Shue and Casey Deller were the two engineers on the job. We had a real interesting challenge here, and that was who was going to handle the money. And because a lot of people were contributing to it, and Jeff Loback and his assistant Kathy Evler were very instrumental in setting up an escrow account that everything got paid out of. And I was always talking to Kathy, what do we got? What do we got? And finally, the two utility companies, believe me, stepped up and stepped way beyond what would normally be expected to make this happen. From Columbia Gas, we have Russ Bedell, and I'm going to ask him to say a few words in a few minutes. And Greg Roderball, I guess, is your boss, is that right?
One of,
okay. And again, they stepped up and really took care of things when it needed to. York Water Company, Jeff Hines is here. It's on. York Water Company served a very important role because we were a bit at a loss of who actually the contract agent is, and they stepped forward and said they would do that. So that made it much, much simpler. Otherwise, we'd probably still be stewing the pot. And Randy Laux, who was their operations person, also helped out. From York College, I'd like to acknowledge a few folks that are here. Dr. Ken Martin is in the back, and he has been with us every step of the way, and been a great person to work with, and his guidance and how to make this all happen has been very helpful. I think here today we have the Dean of Students, Joe Merkel, over there. The Director of Resident Life, Kevin Field. And the Director of Campus Safety, Ed Bruder. There we go. And last but not least is the group that actually made this happen. Start with Mike Mulcahy. He's one of the significant property owners on Jackson Street that saw the light early on and been a huge participant in this. Bob Murphy and his wife Suki. There we go. Tom and Diane Boyle. They've owned property on Jackson for probably longer than anybody, I think. 2 years. Right. And Scott and Sarah Reineke. And Scott and Sarah are just sort of the heart and soul here, in that I think Sarah spent 15 hours the last week cleaning the beds. And she did that consistently the whole way through. And Sarah, I personally want to thank you very much. You're a great editor, by the way, and appreciate that when it was needed. We communicated as best we could on a limited budget with all the property owners whenever we could, and there was something significant happening, and like cutting a tree down or something like that, and asking for money. That was the challenging part, but we made it, and we did it. So that being said, I'm going to give you a brief history here, and probably none of you realize that Jackson Street, when it first started, was a golf course community. Is that a bit of a surprise? If you think about it, the Outdoor Country Club is located where York College is. And that being the basis, you can picture what this neighborhood looked like 115 years ago, when a lot of these houses were being built. Diane had a picture from between 1885 and 1905, and it's tree lined and the brick sidewalks, and it was all just starting out as a new community at that time. And it was also one of the extended loops for the trolley in the city of York. The trolley lines went right down the middle of the street. They went down to Virginia Avenue, took a left, the country club, back to George, and then to downtown. So, in a sense, this was a satellite community. It had its own commuter line, it had its recreational facilities, it had a neighborhood bakery, butcher shop, laundry, and a funeral parlor. What else do you need? It's all here. At the west end of West Jackson, and slightly to the north, a number of significant industries were located that have contributed greatly to the sustained growth and development of the city and the county of York. In the 1960s, one of York's longest partnerships began to take shape on the golf course, as I mentioned earlier. York College has outgrown its original downtown location and moved to the closest open space to the city, growing and developing not only its physical campus, but also its academic program. The college is an important asset to the York community. Educationally, economically, culturally, and physically, its influence is prevalent in many aspects of the many efforts to sustain and expand our quality of life in York, Pennsylvania. Beginning with the City of York's revision of its comp plan in 2006, a group of property owners, along with some other parties who were interested in the future of the city, and in particular West Jackson Street, came together to begin a process of addressing a realistic assessment of the neighborhood. Heavily influenced by student population, a vision was crafted that reflected in the subsequent approval of the various ordinances of the city codes. Short and sweet, student housing was allowed in the neighborhood. The property owners, along with the support of the city and the college, began to develop a plan for improving the quality of life in the West Jackson Street neighborhood. The work of the utility companies jump-started the whole process. It sort of became obvious that a piece of the vision could be within reach. The idea of 100% makeover took root, and we were off to the races. Lo and behold, what seemed like a 10-year effort became a reality within 2 years. Over 40 years, the transition of West Jackson Street had occurred from one of a former golf course community to a solid urban neighborhood, to one where the vast majority of residents reside for little more than 1 year, perhaps 2. But this 1 or 2 years of residency are important to both the college and the city. The West Jackson Street experience is one understood by many Yorkers. It is part of York's fabric, and many graduates of York College have chosen to stay in York because they have grown to appreciate the community. Although York does not have the urban amenities of larger metropolitan areas, it is a great place to live. West Jackson was and is a stepping stone to postgraduate life. Our community has welcomed many of these individuals, and in some cases elected them to represent them in matters of state. Kevin Schreiber being the one. And there'll be others.
Welcome to the neighborhood. Marks is having an after party.
The renewal of West Jackson Street is a result of many people and many organizations, including the City of York, York College of Pennsylvania, Columbia Gas Company, the York Water Company, and the Rotary Club of York, who is helping us plant trees in the end of October. And most importantly, the West Jackson Street property owners themselves. Owners recognizing and capitalizing on an opportunity. A set of circumstances that created an opportunity and a group of folks who were not afraid to pitch in to make it happen. I'd like to thank you all for coming today to help us celebrate this truly remarkable event. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the City of York's strongest advocate and one who has supported the partnership from the very beginning, the Honorable Mayor Kim Bracey.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sorry I have a little voice, and I believe our guys probably made this happen so that you all would know that we need a new system for the budget. Okay. It is good to see everyone. Thank you for attending. We have a number of elected officials with us. We've already heard about Representative Kevin Schreiber. Thank you so much, sir, for being here and your leadership and partnership with this city. To City Council members, Council President Carol Hill Evans and Henry Nixon, thank you so much for being here as well, too. We are celebrating yet another positive public and private partnership that will benefit, among others, our city, your college, and the residents of this area. In fact, to the residents. I think this is the quietest I've ever heard this neighborhood. As a native Yorker, I think I can say that. I mean, this is pretty quiet. As you all know, our city was founded in 1741, and 26 years afterwards, York College of Pennsylvania was founded in 1787. The same year, our nation's Constitution was adopted. We have matured together. We have prospered. We have weathered fair and stormy seasons. Our city and our college are linked together. As our city goes, so does our college, and vice versa. And that is what brings us together today, recognizing the similar paths for both communities and that we must continue to work together to bring about positive change. Our college, our city, each composed of diverse constituencies, needs, challenges, and opportunities. Jackson Street has long been a thoroughfare between our city and our college, as Phil has already indicated. And for many years, it has been composed of students and homeowners, landlords and tenants living and coexisting. And through the recent update to our comprehensive plan and our zoning ordinance, both York College and the student landlord community played a unique and important role, working together over several year period, as Phil also indicated, to develop a mutually satisfactory plan that has and will continue to improve this neighborhood. And today, again, is recognition time for that. I've never been to a ribbon cutting for a street before. We have quite a few of them, but this is significant in all fronts, and it is the first, and I'm sure we'll have many more because we're not done. There's a lot that's going to happen and come out of this partnership. Our city continues to work with our parties and partners, and through neighborhood police enforcement, zoning and code enforcement, and fostering a healthy town and gown relationship, Jackson Street may be home to individuals matriculating through York College, a second-generation homeowner, or any number of the 5,000 York College students or alumni living in central Pennsylvania. They all know of Jackson Street's fame and sometimes its infamy, but one constant exists. For our city to succeed, for our college to succeed, we must continue to attract new people to live, work, and invest and recreate. And this is part of that. And we embark on the Quality of Life Place initiative, one that will demonstrate the benefits of public-private partnership and how we can each work together to achieve a mutually satisfactory and sustaining result. This is a good thing. We are seeing a greener, a cleaner, a safer neighborhood for our students and families and residents to all together and to enjoy together. Today is just one more connection and shows strength between the campus and the city community. West Jackson Street Partnership's Streetscape project represents an investment of high visibility and importance to the college, the city, and the York area as a whole. And I personally want to thank the landlords, the residents, our students who came out this morning to being part of this. This is truly one of those efforts that took everyone to be part of. And I hope everyone will keep it clean and keep it nice like this too. We are already looking at opportunities of how the city can assist, maybe picking up trash in the rear, some things we're speculating about and looking at. Jim's on vacation. So. But in his absence, I want to acknowledge Dave Rudolph, who is acting director for the department right now. Thank you, Dave, for the guys and everyone being here. We can't do any of this without you. Thank you. And as I indicated, we're not finished yet. There are rail trail improvement plans currently being organized and underway, which will be another great partnership of various interests coming together to enhance the quality of life in the York area, including the college area. So today, it is an honor to be here and to say thank you to each and every one of you, all of our partners who have come together to create this physical change. It is beautification at its best. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, it is my distinct honor to introduce a true leader among this partnership and someone who recognizes the value in working together to create the desired change. And that is our very own York College President, Dr. Pamela Gunter-Smith.
Thank you, Mayor Bracy. I'm going to use my teacher voice, so I think that everyone can hear me. This is, as been said, it's a wonderful day. I think back to last year in August. I had been president for probably 6 weeks, and one of my first official duties was to take a shovel in front of the fire station and to actually didn't get to dig up anything, but to pose with the shovel with everyone who is involved. This is a great example of the way in which meaningful partnerships develop between the college, the utilities, the city, as well as the homeowners and landlords of this area. Jackson Street is very important to us, not only as members of this community, because this is our neighborhood. This is our city. Our students live here. They learn about how to be, hopefully, good citizens and good neighbors. Many of our students, all of our students, talk fondly about their Jackson Street experience. Now, some of you probably know that this entails kids playing in the street with, frisbees and what have you. But what it also does, it is a transition place for them, where they learn what it means to be responsible citizens in our neighborhood, how to care for the places in which they live, and what is required of them as citizens in any neighborhood. So this is very important for our students, and of course I would be remiss if I did not say that part of our interest also is to ensure that our students have a good experience here and that they have a secure and safe environment in which they can continue to grow and to mature. But also, part of this is a knowledge of the college's responsibility to the citizens of our neighborhood. And this is also part of our motivation for partnering with each and every one of you here today. As the mayor says, as the city goes, the college goes. And as the college goes, the city goes. And so it is only natural that we will be full participants in this process. You've already heard that many of our students stay and become citizens of the York area. They are employed by many of the corporations here. Dentsply, for example, seeks out our students. A variety of places hire York College graduates, and we're very proud of this. And also we're very proud of the fact that some of our better known students actually move into to be state representatives, of which only one of them is here today as an example. But part of the movement about claiming the area and York City as our own is really pushed by our students. And so some of the examples that you may have seen or may not have seen about this is on when part of orientation, about 300 students, faculty, and staff, first-year students, walked the rail trail to downtown York and look to see all that York has to offer of them. And Representative Stryver was one of the leaders, and I understand his tour took 5 hours as he stopped to say hello to everyone. But this is just an example that it's not only the administration of the college that is partnering and considering this our hometown. It's also that of our students, because it's our students who are actually driving the push for students to attend First Fridays and Second Saturdays, and we hope that many, many of them will continue to stay. I should also just add that we, as you know, we have an incubator in which we are doing our part to develop new businesses. They have a place to work, but more importantly, they have the expertise of our faculty. They're interacting with our brightest students, and they're interacting with one another and working together as they start their businesses. Our hope and our plan for them is that these individuals in our incubator will move out and move their businesses to York. So this is indeed a great place for us. I'm so happy to be here, and it's not often that a college president during her tenure has an opportunity to both participate in the opening of a partnership and to put a shovel in the ground, and now to participate in the ribbon cutting for this. You will see me drive down this this boulevard, someone said, sometimes in the evening, just to check out the scene here and to see how much life this streetscape has brought to this neighborhood. So personally, thank you to each and every one who made this happen. And on behalf of York College, 5,600 students, our friends, our faculty and staff, thank you for being here for us and for being good neighbors and good citizens and supporting our students. So with that, I'd like to introduce another person who played a very important role in this, one of the property owners here, and that is Scott Reniker. Would you please come forward?
Thank you. On behalf of the property owners, I would like to thank the City of York, York College, Columbia Gas, the York Water Company, the Rotary Club of York's Preserve Planet Earth Committee, and Susquehanna Real Estate for their part in working with us to make this public improvement project a reality. Reniker Real Estate has been a part of Jackson Street for 30 years. I'm a York College graduate. When I went to school, I lived on Jackson Street. My wife Sarah and our family lived on Jackson Street. And throughout these years, we've envisioned this kind of transformation, and now it's a reality. By taking advantage of timing and a major utility upgrade that began in 2013, the property owners, including Reniker Real Estate, please raise your hand, Mike Mulcahy, Bob Murphy, Tom and Diane Boyle, Cherry Lane Realty, All Styles Real Estate, Lucas Property Management, Yorkshire Properties, Clem and Marlene Aline, James and Dorcas Haverstick, John and Janet Kroll, Lori Loss, Mary Jane Mitchell, and Ruth Bevenauer contributed to the fund that helped pay for this public improvement. Today we're here to celebrate what has been accomplished over the past year. But our focus is already transitioning into what's next. The next phase has two parts. The first part is continuous improvement on the housing behind this beautiful streetscape, where one house improvement becomes a block improvement, becomes a street improvement, becomes an entire neighborhood improvement. The second part of what's next is that we must take responsibility to be consistently committed to daily maintenance. For this is the heart of a neighborhood success. So what have we done to focus on daily maintenance? In August, we got together and we organized a purchase of 332 trash cans to be distributed throughout the neighborhood. The focus now is to get the trash in the cans, get the cans to the curb on trash day, Tuesdays and Fridays, and then return the cans to the back of all the buildings. In October, we are once again partnering with the Rotary Club's Preserve Planet Earth Committee to plant over 20 new trees on Jackson Street to continue to restore the street's canopy. You can see next to us the results of a Rotary Club planting in the spring of 2002. We are also working to create a sustainable plan, because Sarah just can't do it every week, to plant and weed these green space wastewater management planters, which were installed during the street improvement project. The last thing is, the main focus moving forward is to work every day on the small, picking up the trash, mowing the yards, weed whacking, sweeping the sidewalks, shoveling the sidewalks, trimming your bushes and trees. And last but not least, make sure the front porches are kept orderly. Because these are the things that truly make a neighborhood thrive. Thank you again for the many partners that helped to make this happen. I'll now turn it over to Phil Burdell.
Doing the street was the easy part, and what he referred to is a challenge. I'd like to recognize Russ Bedell from Columbia Gas, or a couple words. Russ?
Sure. Thank you very much. Good morning. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you today. I want to thank the mayor, the city of York, the York Water Company, York College of Pennsylvania, the Rotary Club of York, and Susquehanna Real Estate for coming together in an effort to make our city shine as the West Jackson Streetscape project is completed. I would also like to say a special thank you to the property owners along West Jackson Street and to the customers of Columbia Gas of Pennsylvania. We appreciate their patience and understanding when we take on an infrastructure project to upgrade our lines. Safety is Columbia's #1 priority, and we are committed to our continued investment in the safest possible natural gas delivery system for our customers and communities. For the West Jackson Street project, Columbia Gas replaced over 12,000 feet of aging cast iron and bare steel pipe with state-of-the-art plastic pipe to provide reliable service for generations to come. Hand in hand with these upgrades was the work done by the York Water Company. This project is a great example of the way we partner with the York Water Company and the City of York to invest in our community. Coordinating schedules and resources helps our customers to save money. And the way we do this in York is the model for the rest of our service territory. The partnership that formed in this streetscape effort is an example of what can be done when companies and organizations share costs and work together. And sharing restoration costs in a project like this helps us all be more efficient and get more done. And now that the streets and sidewalks are in place, and we talked a moment ago about restoring the canopy, I of course have to take this opportunity to remind everybody to call 811 before they think of digging into the ground around this beautiful area. Calling 811 provides us an opportunity to mark our gas lines and prevent a potentially dangerous situation. It's free and it's the law, so just had to mention that. Thank you very much.
Please, no digging in the street. I'd like to recognize York's second oldest partnership, which is with York Water Company. And going back to 1814, do I have that right?
1816.
16, okay, that was close. So I'd like to recognize Jeff Hines, the president of York Water Company.
Thanks. Representing America's oldest investor-owned utility. Started in 1816. We've been around for 198 years. And one reason we've been around so long is because we understand having a sustainable infrastructure. And in fact, we replace about 45,000 feet of water main every year. And so we're always looking for ways to be more efficient. And our partnership with Columbia Gas, usually, and in this case, with York College, the City of York, the Rotary Club, the landlords, and the tenants and the homeowners has just been a phenomenal partnership. And helps keep our costs down, helps keep our service quality up. In fact, this pipe that we replaced on this project was put in 1896 when these houses were built, as Phil said, as a country club community. And so it's been 118 years. And we have a replacement schedule of about 120 years. That's how long our pipes last. And so every year we replace almost 1% of our pipes. So imagine 1896 when we put these pipes in. As Phil said, there's no cars. There are people walking, there are buggies, there are horses. There was a trolley that came by, probably a dirt road, no phone, no gas, no electric, no sewer, none of that. But there was a pipe in the ground and fire hydrants protecting the neighborhood. So we'd like to thank all the partners in this project, and we'd like to point out that if everything goes well, we won't have to do this again on Jackson Street until 2134. So keep the date. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, Russ, Scott, President, Mayor. We are now ready for the big moment of cutting a highly engineered ribbon. I probably recommend you don't grab hold of the ribbon. I don't know what's going to happen when we cut it. So I need everybody's cooperation to come on this side because we want to get a good picture here. And we have a 6-pound set of scissors.
That really